first look at Wizard Watterson, you would assume that he's a lazy, tired adult. But what if I tell you that his funniest traits stem from his traumatic past? Yep, you will never look at Dumbledore's father the same way ever again. According to the Cell, Wizard's childhood was shown to be quite abusive and miserable. The earliest instance of this happening was his father, Frankie, leaving him behind. This was first mentioned in the Man when Wizard was disapproving of his mother having a new boyfriend.
What is Father gonna say when he comes back?
Father?
Yeah! You said he left to buy some milk 42 years ago. He could be back any minute.
Yep, Frankie left his family to get some milk. Well, actually, he left because he simply didn't want to get caught in his stabs. But based on his worried expression, Frankie truly loved his son. So he wanted to make his actions less stressful for him by lying. Well, that's sweet. It doesn't completely stop the consequences of his actions. Having an absent parent can result in the child feeling that they're not worthy of being loved, trying to hide their insecurities with confidence or frauding, having emotional dysregulation, or even getting stuck in abusive relationships. We can see Wizard not handling situations well in various episodes. He yells for a long time after finding out that Mason doesn't exist. He trashes the house as a payback for his son's pranking him, and he wasted his family's entire money on a star and tries to hide it for them. This definitely means that within Wizard's childlike behavior, he doesn't know how to regulate his emotions and makes impulsive decisions instead. All because his father left him when he was young. Personally, Wizard's father was later found to be alive and hung out with his son to make up for the lost time they had together. Now that's sweet. But what's not sweet is how his mother treated Wizard when he was young. Wizard's mother, also known as Danana or Granny Jojo, is super overprotective of her son. She would go out her way to stop Wizard for any potential dress that he may come across. This is usually done by staring him away from them with a sweet demonstrations.
Follow me. A good mother prevents the incident before it happens.
The worst part is that it's working.
Now, it's perfectly fine for parents to stop their kids from getting into danger. However, there is a point when their well-intentioned plans go too far. If a person flatly controls everything that may come out little, then it leads them no room for development. Therefore, the toddler will have mental health issues in the future, such as low self-esteem and anxiety. Here's the thing though. Failure isn't something to be afraid of, but it helps the person know how to avoid it next time. That builds a character. But if your parents keep on making you stay in the same boring routine every time, then your sweet has no personality, for a lack of a better word. In fact, the adultery is a perfect example of how overprotective parenting harms children. Jonetta stares the Watson kids with her parenting to the point that they all forget their critical thinking skills and turn into wizards.
Wait, it's because of your parenting that he has no common sense whatsoever. You protected him his entire life, never letting him think for himself, and now he can hardly think at all.
After learning this, we should have thought twice about Justin Wizard's childlike behavior, because it's a byproduct of his childhood trauma, and I don't endorse bullying anyone who is already suffering. Poor Wizard. It's a good thing that someone was there to save Wizard from any more harm. But who is that someone? And how did she save this pit bunny's life? Well, her name is Nicole, and her parents were just as abusive as wizards. But instead of centering, they forced their daughter into becoming what they believe a successful person looks like. This poor girl had to get perfect grades in school and take every single extracurricular activity against her will. And for the longest time, this abusive narrative has stuck in Nicholas's mind. She thought that reaching for the top was the only way that she would be loved by her parents. However, this all takes in one fateful day. Nico was going to attend a kawaii competition until she and her parents got stuck in traffic. But not wanting to be late, she decides to run straight to the competition alone instead. The quick little girl did make some good progress until she ended up getting lost and getting disqualified from the competition. Since she never attended, Nico thinks that she's a complete failure, that she will lose her parents' trust indefinitely. However, someone was listening to her style. Wizard! He fully understands what it's like to be raised by an abusive parent. So, Wizard decides to give her advice that would change her life forever.
I mean, what should I do with my life?
Maybe start living it?
Yeah! Wizard, out of all people, suggested that Nico should follow her own intuition, rather than having to rely on her abusive parents. No matter what the situation is, your gut feeling will signal you to the best option available. So denying or suppressing it isn't the best idea. So, when Wizard his advice, Nico decides to live her life the way she liked it. And it paid off. She started to rely on Lister more than her parents do. And eventually, the fat cat leaves them behind when she became an adult. Coincidentally, Lister's mother kicked her son out of his childhood home at the same night. So, with them finally being free from their abusive parents, Nico and Lister decided to stay together in their journey. And the rest is history. If it weren't for them having abusive parents, then Lister and Nico would have never met. But it was because of that trauma that led them to not only fall in love, but also became better parents for their own family. Overall, their stories were miserable, but sweet and rewarding at the same time. Thanks for watching! If you like this video, then you'll like this one or this playlist. Subscribe to my channel for more funny videos, and I will see you stars in the sky tonight!